I'm hoping that was 14. It was either 13 or 14. I was using a ring light. It was, but the lights above, man, are just better. I have no idea why. I'm just figuring this shit out as I go. But I'm gonna replay that and see how many I got. That was the most that I've ever done on that, and that was 14. You know what it is, man? I got some new pre-workout, Hostility. I do like it. I like the bottle it came in. I mean, obviously you want the supplement to actually be a good performance enhancer, but the bottle it comes in definitely. So 14 reps on that, 14 full reps. Last week I got like 13 and a half, so progress there. Fix the lighting. I might do some bent over rows today. We'll see how I feel after this one, but I'm gonna use this bad boy just like last time. So I'm gonna warm up a little bit, just one set probably, and then up it to that main set and go crazy. So if you're trying to strap in and you can't, then you gotta use your mouth and pull the strap. And once you're strapped in, then it's game time. That was heavy. The weight shouldn't be light, shouldn't be too heavy. It should be, after the set, you should say, that was heavy, if you know what I'm saying. So I'm not gonna bend over completely, like here, because then it's more like lower trap, more like mid trap, but I wanna actually bend over to the point where I'm almost like doing like a diagonal shrug. So if you were doing shrugs, which you could substitute, you would just bend over a little bit and you would kind of do one of these. So it's not just elevation, but you would actually go back a little bit. So as I bend over and I'm rowing, it's kind of like a diagonal shrug and a row at the same time. So again, upper trap where the fibers start to go up a little bit so it moves your scapula up, but also in. So if you know the fibers of a muscle, then you know how to load it. So that's why I'm gonna bend over just a little bit. I'm also doing this to train my lower back, which I didn't do on legs whenever that was, 4 days ago or whatever. So, and I just feel like doing it. So that's why I'm doing this. Now, if you haven't seen Blood and Guts, then I would definitely go check that out on YouTube with Dorian Yates and Leroy Davis. Once you watch their back day, trust me, there might be something wrong with you if you don't want to do bent over rows after that. And I'm doing it like Dorian did too. More up, looking up in the mirror, not going like this because then you round your back, or you're in a position to round your back. So I haven't done these in a long time, so I'm gonna start off with 165 and see how that goes. So that either felt like shit or that felt good. I won't know until I look back. I think at 12, I haven't done these things in so long. So felt good. Whole lower back, upper back. Fatigued. Gonna move on to rear delts. So let's see. I don't know why I do musculars. Most musk on back day, but it's just something I do, man. If you can't do that, then you gotta learn how to do that first. And I mean, if you're a beginner, then the way to do that is just to keep training, do more sets, just accumulate more time in that muscle range to learn it. Like when you first start lifting weights, you're not able to bounce your pecs, obviously. You know, you try to, and you're like moving your entire arm, but you just can't seem to get it. I guess there's just not like a neurological pathway or a strong one yet. So once you've kind of gone through that pattern, all of a sudden you're able to bounce your pecs up and down and individually, not both at the same time. That's it for back and rear delts. I'm gonna move on to biceps now. I am approaching the end of the session, and I do feel like the pre-workout is extending my like fatigue endurance a little bit. I don't know if it's just placebo or if it's actually happening, but I don't think it really matters to me as long as it's doing something. All right, kill biceps in 2 sets. That's the mission. Ooh, come on. So, to make the set even harder, once I did as many as I could and I got to like here, I kind of just shook it up to get to the top. And then I attempted to just kind of hold it on the way down. I was fighting it for my life. And it should feel like your bicep might separate from the bone, but it's not gonna. Trust me, it's not. Unless it does, then, well, no, it's not gonna. It's just not. Unless you have some major problem with your bicep already, you shouldn't be worried about training like an absolute madman. That is the mission every single time you come to the gym. So, done here. Actually, I might do one more. If not, I'll do a dumbbell curl. I think I'm gonna go over and do a dumbbell curl now. I'll tell you what, man. If I hit my foot on one more thing in this gym, I was gonna say I'm not gonna go to the gym anymore, but I think we all know as lifters that's just not a true statement. But I do feel like I'm gonna break my ankle eventually. But I guess that's just what I get for not wearing shoes in the gym. So here we are, on to the second exercise for biceps, and we're gonna do just a dual arm cable or dumbbell curl. That was rough. Damn, those things hit, man. I haven't done those in a long time. I eat these pretty much like every single time I'm done working out. At least it's turned out that way. It's like a quick dose of protein, carbs, and fat, like right after the workout. I do try and like calm down a little bit before the workout, maybe like 10 minutes, just kind of chill before I eat this. But 14 grams of protein. It's got 30 grams of carbs. And it's got 6 grams of fat. So it's hitting everything that I want. So 14 grams, 2 of them, 28 grams. And since I weigh like no body fat, probably under 150, then that means that if I eat around like 150 grams of protein, then it's a pretty good range for me to grow some muscle or reserve some muscle as I'm dieting, like I'm doing now. So that gets me to my next point. My diet. It's actually going pretty good. Strength is like really good. The pull down I did as many as I have ever done. I did 14 with 180 pounds. And I think that's pretty decent for someone who weighs 160 something, you know? So it's like 20 something pull-ups. If I did my body weight and a pull down, I'd do like, if I did my body weight and a pull down, I would do 20 plus, I think. So it's pretty good. The row machine was great. And the T-bar, and the bent over T-bar row, or the bent over row, it was actually pretty good. I did 165 pounds. I've done 185 pounds before for like 8. That was like 2 years ago. But I'm so not used to the movement, so I started with 165. I just kind of felt it as I went up. I did the bar, and then I did 95 pounds, and then I did 135 pounds, which is a plate aside, and then I did 165 pounds. And I did that for like, whatever, 12 reps or something. And I'm using that exercise as a lower back, mid back, upper back. I mean, it's everything. If you're not doing any lower back exercises, then I think you're missing out on like the key point of what weightlifting is. I think lower back strength and grip strength is like 2 things that you should never really give up on. And I did give up on it a little bit. Like sometimes I'll just not do lower back. But I said I squatted, you know, like something like that. But I think a bent over row, barbell row, is a great exercise. I wasn't able to, like, I'm still trying to figure it out when I was doing it, like where to row it towards me. I think I could have rowed it a little bit higher towards me because I felt like I was doing kind of like one of these things instead of one of those. So next time I can kind of figure it out and see how that goes. But I did like that exercise a lot. So I think I'm going to keep that in the rotation. And what else? It was 3 sets of back, 1 set of rear delts, and then I did the biceps, that's right. So I did 1 set of preacher curls, and then I just kind of wasn't feeling the second set. First set was good. And on every exercise I do for biceps, I'm tucking my elbows like in the entire time, and I'm putting pressure on the inside of my hand. So as I'm going down, I'm lowering it, and I'm thinking like, trying to like supinate it, even though my hand's not gonna move. And I'm obviously not gonna bend the bar because it's goddamn metal. So tuck the elbows, keep this supinated, and I'm resisting, feeling the bicep lengthen, and then I'm pushing my tricep into the pad as I curl, tuck my elbows, and twist my wrist at the same time. And I come up to a point of peak contraction, no more, because then it kind of falls off, and then I'll get right back into the lengthening position. And then I just kind of felt like doing the standing, whatever, 2-arm dumbbell curl. That felt cool. That was a good exercise. In the past, I would get too caught up on like perfect exercises and like the most tension throughout the entire thing. But I wanted to do that exercise, and it's a great exercise. But in the past, I might think, oh, I'm gonna do more of a stretch because it's not enough stretch to activate the long head. But I mean, as long as you're training your bicep and your elbow is bending, your biceps working. I wouldn't overcomplicate it too much. Just go ham, go crazy, do a couple sets for every body part, and you should grow from that. As long as your like execution is decent, and you're like getting a pump in the muscle after, and you feel like that muscle is fatigued, you should not be able to do the same amount of reps for the weight multiple sets in a row. That's a sign to me that you're not locking in on that muscle and fatiguing it because you're able to do the same exact thing. So if you were to really fatigue yourself, you wouldn't be able to do the same amount of reps for the same weight on the next set if you're someone who does multiple sets of the same exercise. So keep that in mind. If you're a guy who just does like the one set thing, like me, I mean, go all out. You got one set, subconsciously, you have one set and you can give it everything. So you don't have to worry about coming back and during a second set. So leave it all there and then move on to a different exercise so you can train the muscle in a little bit different way. I mean, that's how I think of it. And I've done is up to like 12 sets of back, and now I'm down to 3. And I feel like 3 is my sweet spot when I'm really locking in. And I'm basing that off of my strength and how I feel outside of the gym. If I increase the sets anymore, I start to get fatigued outside of the gym. Sex drive will drop down. That's a key sign that you might be doing too much. Motivation goes down, not wanting to train as much. It feels like adrenal fatigue. Like my adrenaline just can't produce anymore. It kind of just feels like it's roasted and there's nothing left. Like I took a towel and I just squeezed every little piece of adrenaline out of it, and just dripping and just gone, just down the sewer, gone forever. That's kind of how it feels, and that's when I know I need a couple days off. But I could have prevented that if I kind of managed it a little bit throughout my sessions. Maybe not have done like a crazy negative on the way up. Just went to like that good positive failure and then just come back up and not fight it for my life on the way up, because it's super fatiguing when you do that in multiple exercises. You can do that once in a while, but it shouldn't be an everyday thing. I don't think. But again, you just got to base it off of your recovery and see how you're feeling. Some people can get away with way more. Everybody's genetics are different. So, for example, if I go out in the sun, I can stay out there for 30 minutes, no problem. UV 8 out of 10. I don't get burnt. I'll get a nice tan, but somebody else who's very white might burn in 5 minutes. And then, for example, the extreme, a black person, can stay out there for a whole hour. So their exposure is, they have different levels of exposure to the stress. Same thing goes for weightlifting. Someone who's not super genetically gifted in weightlifting, they can't recover from as much, versus someone who is gifted for it. They can take a lot more damage to the body, the nervous system, the muscles, and still recover fine. So Someone might do a couple sets for a body part and be destroyed. Somebody else can do 10 sets all out. You just gotta vary it. Start with the lowest number of sets, the lowest amount of stress that is required to create an adaptation. You don't want to go any more than that. Then you're burning in the sun. That type of thing. You want to be just enough exposure, 32 minutes and 30 seconds, to change color and then get out of the sun. And then eventually you might have to increase the exposure a little bit. That's kind of the idea of weightlifting. You have to increase the intensity over time. It gets harder and harder to build muscle as you get bigger. So you have to really hone in on your recovery, and but it's all based upon performance again. So if you're getting bigger, more muscular, keep doing it. There's no reason to fix it. Now, I got no idea how I got into that ramp, but that's where I went. So I trained later in the day today to see if the lighting was the problem. It was weird because the ring light was actually worse than the light in the ceiling. So if I train at this time from now on, which I might, then, well, if it's a cloudy day, I can train midday. It's fine. But when there's so many panels in here, so many windows from ceiling to floor, that it's affecting the ring light, and it's like washing me out. And it's making me look fatter and leaner, which is pretty much a goddamn nightmare for anybody. So, just gonna chill. Maybe 2 days off. I said that last time, but I mean, I took 1 day off again. So, but I got legs next. We'll see if I train here. I might be training at another gym potentially, just because they might have some better leg equipment that I like. Just kind of switch it up, but I don't know. We'll see. So I'm gonna eat this, and got legs in a couple days, so I'm gonna rest up.